Hi, I'm Mary. If you're a single woman over 40 who loves God, but you just are finding that being single is more painful than you thought it would be, I want you to know you're not alone, and I think I have something today that's going to help you. Today, I want to talk about how to find peace when you're single and you don't want to be single. And one of the things that we've heard, I think, a lot is there's somebody out there for everybody and there's a lid for every pot. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but there have been a lot of times where I've wondered, is that really true for me? Because I've watched my younger brother and all my friends get married, some of them twice, and I'm still single. And a lot of times it just doesn't feel like there's somebody out there for me. So if you've ever felt that way, I think today is going to help you. Well, as Christians, we like to quote Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And so we go through life, we're single, we're waiting for that person who is going to complete us. Really hate that line from Jerry Maguire. But what if there is not someone for everyone? What if there is not a lid for every pot? And what if God doesn't give you the desires of your heart? And I think these are questions that sometimes we have on the inside, but we're afraid to ask them. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and she's single, she's never been married, doesn't have any children, and she's always wanted to be married. She's always wanted to have a family. And, she teaches the 4-year-olds at church, and, she's a nurse. She takes good care of her family. And recently she was telling me that she had been to the doctor, and the doctor confirmed that she was in menopause. And she was struggling with that because that is the end. You're no longer able to have children. And she was saying, it's fine, but I could tell it was really painful. Just like maybe sometimes if you feel like when people want to know why you're single and you say, oh, I'm fine, but maybe you're not fine. And maybe you're not okay with it. And that's all right. Now, relationship coaches and dating experts will tell you that if you want a relationship, it'll happen. Your soulmate is out there. You just have to manifest him. And yes, I believe that God does give us the desires of our heart. And yes, I do believe that if marriage is in his plan for you, that will happen. But I also know that we're in a broken, sinful world, and the idea that some of us have about what we want in a man may not come to fruition. I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope I am. I heard from one of my One-Derful life ladies a couple of years ago, and she said, I believed God for a long time, and I had faith for a long time that he would send me a husband. And I'm now 70, he never sent one, and so I just don't believe anymore. And I thought that was interesting, and I could certainly relate to how she was feeling. But I think that's a mistake many of us make, and I have made this mistake, where I'm putting my hope and my belief in an outcome. I'm believing my spouse is on the way. And the problem with doing that is when you're putting your hope in a future event and it doesn't happen, you will be crushed. When we're putting our hope in a future event, we're not believing God. We're believing what we want. And they may not be the same thing. I also don't personally believe in setting goals that are highly dependent upon other people. For example, I don't ever set a goal that says something like, if I'm dating someone, this person's going to ask me to marry him, or My friend is going to be a better friend this year, or my parents will do this or that. Because setting a goal that is based on somebody else's behavior means that that goal is not within your control. And so now you find that you're not able to reach your goals because you're having to wait on somebody else. And listen, I'm not saying that you're never going to meet somebody. What I'm saying is that you're not going to be peaceful when you're chasing after the fulfillment of a promise that God didn't make. There's nowhere in Scripture that says God is going to send every one of us a husband. I know, I've looked. And I think as Christian women, especially going back to Psalm 37:4, delight in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. When you're not seeing the desires of your heart be fulfilled, you start to wonder if you're doing something wrong. Maybe you're not delighting in him enough. It's your fault that you're single. But before we go any further, I want to share with you that when you go back into the original Hebrew, in that verse where it says, delight yourself in the Lord, that means submit yourself to him. Submit yourself to the Lord. Because what if his plan for you does not include marriage? Submit yourself to him. And you say, but then if he's not going to give me the desires of my heart, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Hang on. I was asked a question one time in my singleness that really was a game changer for me. And it was, if you never meet Mr. Right, what's it going to take for you to live a happy, fulfilled life? Now, for many years, I said, well, I just won't be happy. I cannot be happy if I stay single. And listen, God will let you stay there for as long as you want. I like to say it only took Jonah 3 days in the belly of the fish to figure out that's not where he wanted to be. I sat in the belly of my own misery for about 20 years. And that's when I finally said, like Jonah did, those that chase after idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. Meaning, when you're chasing after what you want, you're giving up the favor of God on your life because you might be chasing something he doesn't have for you. And maybe that's why it feels so difficult. And I got to the point where I said, you know what? The singleness isn't changing and I just want to be happy. Or actually, you know what? If I'm really honest with you, I didn't even think I could be happy. I just wanted to be not miserable. I would just take content. I didn't really think I could be happy. I would just accept being contented. I was tired of feeling so tormented all the time with the unhappiness because I was single. Today, I'm going to tell you, I'm way over 40. I'm still single. I haven't had a date in a very long time, sadly. So I can't give you some happy ending. Like I just let it all go and my Boaz showed up. I mean, I hope he's on the way. But what I can tell you today is that I have peace, I have joy, I'm content, and I'm able to live my life. I still wish I wasn't single. So I didn't get to a place where I said, well, I don't want a man, or well, I just want to stay single. No, I want a man. I do not want to be single, but I am single. And my question was, how can I live my best life and enjoy my life while I'm single? In John 10:10, Jesus said, I came so that you would have and enjoy your life in abundance to the full until it overflows. Jesus did not come and die on the cross so that we could just trudge through every day and, I'm just going to wait until he calls me home to glory. Because what kind of life is that? And the whole purpose of us still being here on earth after we're saved is so that we can bring other people into the kingdom. If that wasn't it, you would get saved and God would just bring you on home right now. Why are we still here? And who's going to want to be a Christian if all of us Christian women are like, well, I love God, but he just never gave me what I wanted? Who would want that? Today, I can honestly say that I love my life, not because I got what I wanted, but because I stopped waiting for my life to begin once I met someone. So I want to walk you through a little bit of how you can start to move out of the acute pain of singleness and into the starting to feel better about your life, okay? And I'm never going to talk you out of not wanting to be single. I don't want to be single. But what I do want is to help you have a life where you do not develop a root of bitterness. That's what made me sad about the woman who wrote to me about, I believed God and now I'm 70 and I just don't believe him anymore. She became bitter because she didn't get what she wanted. She became bitter. And Jesus said, this is when John the Baptist was in jail. And, of course, if I were John the Baptist, I would be sitting there going like, hey, hello. I dedicated my entire life preparing the way for you. I know you're the Messiah. I'm your cousin. Can you help a brother out? Like, get me out of here. And so John sent his disciples to Jesus to say, are you the Messiah? Are you the one we're waiting for? And Jesus says, don't let anyone fall away on account of me. Meaning, don't stop believing just because I'm not doing what you want me to do. And, could Jesus have miraculously released John from prison? Yeah, he could, but he didn't. And Jesus says, don't stop believing. Don't fall away because I didn't do what you want. So let's do a little exercise here. Just close your eyes if you can for a moment and take a nice deep breath and just imagine and let yourself admit for the moment, what if I never have that relationship? What if my Boaz doesn't show up? I don't meet Mr. Right. And notice how you feel. You might feel afraid. You might feel angry. You might feel a deep sense of grief and loss. And that's normal. And then I want you to just stay there and keep breathing and remind yourself, okay, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I am okay. I was talking to a friend of mine once and I was saying to her, I just don't know if I'm going to be okay if I stay single. And she looked at me and she was like, well, you've been single this whole time and you're okay now. And that really helped me. And I thought, well, yeah, that's true. I am okay. And that's very helpful to me in my everyday life. Okay, it's not that I don't lose my job because I'm single. I'm not losing my home because I'm single. I'm not losing my health because I'm single. So you're still here, you're okay. I think sometimes we believe that happiness and relationship are the same thing. Or in my case, I believe that having peace in my life and enjoying my life was the same as having a relationship. Now, we all know that's not true because we've all been in a relationship that did not bring us happiness and did not bring us peace. In fact, I've been in relationships where I thought, I'll be so happy when I can get out of this. I'll have so much more peace when he's gone. So we know logically that relationships do not equal peace and happiness. And when we tie our ability to be happy or our ability to feel peace to anything outside of us, we're in trouble. Because the minute anything outside of us changes, our happiness is gone, our peace is gone. Interestingly, what I noticed for myself was I thought, well, I want a relationship so then I'll really feel like I have a full life. I'll really feel like I'm vibrant and everything is moving together. And what I started to ask God about was, could I have those feelings that I desire of feeling fulfilled, of feeling loved, of feeling like my life was doing something Could I have those feelings without it being tied to a relationship? And I believe that I could, because in scripture we're told that it's to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit. The fruit of the Spirit: love, peace, joy, patience, kindness, mercy, mercifulness, self-control. All of those things, they're not fruit of the marriage. So I knew I could have a rich, full life without it being tied to something on the outside. And that was important, because once I started to focus on having a life where I felt abundant and I felt happy and full of peace, that's the best mindset to be in for your Boaz to show up. No man is looking for an angry, bitter, depressed woman. Okay, ask your male friends, ask your male relatives, ask your girlfriends, husbands. No man is out there looking for, yes, I want a woman who's bitter and depressed. So you're more likely to attract someone when you're vibrant and happy and you're full of joy. I mean, doesn't the world need more of that in general? And by the way, if he never shows up, you're happy anyway. That's what you wanted the whole time. And that, to me, that became what I call the wonderful life. It's having that life full of peace and joy, where you're attractive and you're plugged in and you're vibrant. And hey, if Mr. Right comes along, awesome. And if he doesn't, you're okay. Listen, I do not know what God has planned for you. I don't know what your love story is going to look like. You could meet your Boaz today. You could meet him never. I do not know. But what I do know is that you can have a wonderful, enjoyable, fulfilled, abundant life right now while you're single. And like I said, that vivacious energy, that attracts people to you. And you never know. You might meet a new girlfriend and she introduces you to her brother, and that's your soulmate. But even if that doesn't happen, you'll be enjoying your life anyway, and that's what you want. Now listen, I understand that being single can break your heart. And if you're struggling with feelings of hurt or brokenness, I put a free teaching on the page here below this video. And you can get that. It's free. It's the ABCs of healing, how to get over a broken heart. And I just want to thank you for joining me today. And I truly hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.